The Editor-in-Chief is live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, welcome to the program. It is December the 9th and you're with the Editor-in-Chief.
Duncan Garner, live.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Duncan Garner. Welcome to the podcast. We're right across social media. Get in touch and leave us a message, leave us a comment. But tonight I'm really confused and perplexed. With the government's boot camps running into trouble with kids absconding and going on the run and one participant even dying as a result of an accident, a proven boot camp doing similar things in Auckland can't get the government or MPs to even return their emails. And with cost cutting in the public service, the funding's dried up for this one. But 70 at-risk kids continue to turn up to the boot camp. The schools continue to send them to this boot camp, and their success has been outstanding. Their results speak for themselves, and they've come on tonight because they don't know who to turn to or where to turn to, so they come to us. They are effectively screaming out for help. They have had two $50,000 grants from MSD after reaching out and inviting MSD to come and have a look at what they did, and MSD was so impressed it handed over the funding. But nothing is long-term, you see. Nothing has been official, and the boot camp has just grown organically, morphed into what it is today. But the funding's dried up. And with national squeeze on the public service to find further cost savings, they're in trouble. Jethro, Merrin and Tim, they run the boot camp called Te Kaha. They're miffed at the lack of interest there is from this national government, and they claim that law and order and getting this country back on track, which is meant to be a priority for this government, how can it be if they ignore this? In reality, they openly ignore this stuff, or they appear too busy or self-absorbed to work with them. This is a not-for-profit private sector group that's put its hand up to say we can do this, and the government is just a blank. Let's go.
Duncan Garner, live.
So it started like this. I got this email in my inbox, just like the government did, ministers did, MPs have received this. The difference is that I'm trying to do something about it. You'll learn shortly how deafening the silence has been from this government, which is deeply disappointing, I reckon. It makes you wonder how genuine they really are about fixing the youth crime and truancy issue. But it starts like this. Here's the email. Hi, Duncan. Can you help? Because I get no response from any MPs or the government. I just read another article about youth crimes in Northcote. We're a non-profit charity that has been running a similar program to the so-called government boot camps on Auckland's North Shore and West Auckland for high-risk youth offenders for over a year now, and our results are exceptional and have been outstanding. So far, our results have far exceeded anything we thought. Our results show a huge reduction in their crime rates and increase in school attendance levels. The incredible thing is we pretty much get no government funding support, and both police and Oranga Tamariki have only sent a few kids to us, and we never see or hear from them. We're getting referrals from both mainstream schools and alternative education schools for these high-risk kids, who the majority are already in the justice system, which has not been working for them. But we are shocked and perplexed why police and Oranga Tamariki don't send kids our way or engage with us, and why the national government doesn't come and work with us. We want to share our knowledge and work with the government, with the police and with OT, even throughout New Zealand, but it feels like behind all the talk, no one really cares, and we're just competing against them. It feels like it's just all talk for the media to get votes. We run our program out of Snap Gym in Takapuna, but mostly we now run our programs in schools 3 days a week. We typically look to have the kids in our program at least 1 to 2 years, then we transition them into further education or work. Our program goes like this: Monday gym, Wednesday boxing, and Friday mental well-being, trauma and self-esteem rebuilding, empathy teachings. The 3 directors are just local, like-minded people that want to help out. I'm a retired finance advisor. We have a barrister and a gym owner. I'd love to meet you, and can you please help us and discuss our program and share our knowledge? That'd be brilliant. It was brilliant. It's a great email. 3 good Kiwis making a difference. Where's Louise Upston, the Minister of Social Development? Where's Karen Chua, the Minister of Boot Camps? And where's the local MP for the North Shore, Simon Watts? Can one of you answer their emails and their requests to engage, please? Mike King finally got money after making a noise, and rightly so, but how hard do you have to scream to get heard? They're putting their own time and lives into this. It's not much to ask you to response, is it? I think it's poor. It's not the Kiwi way. It's a common complaint I hear, and I've often heard about the previous Labour government. They never got back to people. But national, come on, you can do better, can't you? Let's meet these guys anyway. I spoke to Jethro, Tim and Merrin a short time ago. So hey, welcome guys. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. Jethro, you kick it off. What's the issue? You guys doing a great job. Tell us what you do.
Yeah, so Te Kaha runs. It's a program for at-risk youth. It's not a boot camp as such, but it's kind of a similar type of sort of program as you will. Basically, in a nutshell, kids come to us 3 days a week. We have a mixture of physical training and then mental skills training with the kids. So we run, so like on a Monday they'll do boxing with us, Wednesday gymming, and then on a Friday it's mental skills approach. And
these kids are identified how? How do they come along?
These are all kids through they're falling through the cracks, so they're all either in the police justice youth system or they're about to go into that system, and so we're getting calls from schools for us to, can we come and help them, because nobody can help
That's
them.
actually a good issue because, as you say, how do you identify them?
Yeah.
And we're just a community-based organisation. We're a group of friends that saw that
You
there
just
was a
got together,
problem.
really, didn't you?
And we did. And then we're like, well, how are we going to identify these
Yes.
kids? And, with all the privacy issues, we can't go straight to the police and say, tell us all your problem children. You want us to...
And they're too busy, of course, to organise anything as well.
Yeah,
So with all these, have you had funding before?
No.
No. For pretty much the first year, we operated for free. So we had 3 trainers training kids 3 times a day, and from 4 different schools with no funding at all. And, just Jethro doing basically the marketing, trying to locate...
Just in your own time.
Locate your own time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was year 1. When was that?
Last
That
year.
started 2022.
Okay,
yeah.
so you've had, and this year, any funding?
Actually, MSD, we invited them to come and look at
Good.
what we were doing,
Yes.
and we had a really good response from MSD.
Great.
They gave us $50,000 in the first year,
Yep.
which really got us into stepping up to that next level and identifying more kids.
So what could you
And-
do with $50,000? How was that spent?
Well, it allowed us to pay our trainers,
trainers, really.
because the trainers all have families. Like
Yeah,
Tim
like
is
Tim's
one
one
of
Yeah.
our
Trainers.
main trainers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a young family, so we
course.
needed to be able to pay them.
Well, no one does. But no one should be doing this for free. I can't stand the way that in this society, in this country, that we have all this money at the top, but we expect all these problems to be sorted out with no money at the bottom. You know?
Exactly.
So you guys were doing it for $50,000 is
Nothing, yeah.
No, it was nothing.
It's not
It was the bare minimum of.
Well,
Yeah.
Maren's a
Yeah.
lawyer. She's running her own law business.
Yes.
And I said to her, how long do you work doing all the accounts and that for TLK? She says about 10 hours a week. That
Yes.
she's not getting paid.
Yes.
That she's doing it for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she could be billing.
I know what it's like 'cause I've set up my own business, and I know how many hours you're doing just on maintaining the business. It just takes time.
Yeah.
And so are you seeing? So what you're putting your hand up and saying, "Hey guys, we need help. You've got 70 kids in there right
100%.
now, and if
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
work with you, they'd be out there,
Yeah.
right?" And you're noticing progress with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim, he's the one.
So I'm the one that does the mindset coaching with them as
Yeah.
well, and the fitness and the boxing. But yeah, I've been noticing progress on the kids a lot, especially certain schools. They take on the mindset roles, the mindset tools, quite a lot.
I wonder if the schools have had enough. They've just got so much going on. They just
do.
Once the
Yeah.
bell goes at 3, see ya.
Yeah. But the
That's
kids, the principals actually tell me that the kids are leveling up and changing here and there.
Yes.
I make them set goals. So just an example, what I'll do would be like Jeffrey was saying, the start of the week would be boxing, and then fitness. Then at the end of the week, the school gives me a classroom,
Yes.
and then I just teach them about mindset tools like hitting goals,
That's
reverse
great.
engineering.
That's brilliant. So,
Yeah.
so you get them in the classroom, do you?
Yeah, you get them in the classroom. Yeah.
Wow. And so what does it involve when you talk about the mind? What does it mean?
So just teaching them how to reverse engineer. So I'll get them to think of a real massive goal,
Yes.
and then I just teach them steps how to break it down.
This is brilliant.
Teach them about manifestation, affirmations,
Yeah.
just positive self-talk.
And sorry to interrupt, and the greatest thing about he's just come on board about the last sort of 6 months with us. And the greatest thing about a guy like him is he actually was one of those kids at one stage. So he went right through the system.
Did you have a tough sort of setup, did you?
Not at the early ages, but as I was growing up, I got into crime and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why the kids can relate to me.
Totally. I was going to say,
Yeah.
the best thing for you is that they look at you and they look at themselves and they
Yeah,
say, hey,
exactly.
you know,
Like kids don't want to see someone that studied about them. They want someone that is them.
Yeah.
what do you say?
You know?
That's why Dave Talley does so well. And
Yeah.
you've got to be relatable. So you've got 70 in there now. You're seeing, are these kids that they think they're tough and they think they're this and that and they don't understand consequences, when they do something silly?
Probably
and,
all, all types. Eh?
It's all types
All
of stuff.
types.
Most of the kids, they're not naughty. They're just bored. Because
Yeah.
I was one of those kids, Like there's really nothing really to do once school finishes.
I find that I've got 14-year-old boy and I know all his mates and I have a lot to do with them because I worry that they're going to go off the rails.
Yeah.
So I'm sit alongside them from sort of 3 o'clock onwards every
Yeah.
day, go and do things with them because they're bored.
Yeah, exactly.
But you also got to admit, a lot of them also coming from homes that are typically, you know what I mean, they probably don't have a strong male role model in the house, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's be honest, you know what I mean?
Well, parents are on shift to work and
Dad's maybe not there, maybe away.
But
maybe
how those kids like end up getting naughty is because majority of them are bored. There'll be one of them that's getting abused or something at home.
Yeah.
He goes to school, lets it out on people. Then there's other ones that are bored, thinks it's cool, and all of a sudden you got a team of them.
I've seen this, and then there's little gangsters, and
Yeah,
then it
but then when
goes
you
from
talk to
there.
them by themselves, they're actually like real good kids.
They are good kids.
Yeah.
They are. I always look for I try and look for the good in these kids, and
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
there's good in them. What do you need? You guys need sort of some long-term funding, some long-term commitment,
support.
support.
We need support. Like we're doing what the national government promises on doing. We're doing it, you know what I mean? And I haven't heard from any of them. I'll tell you, I just emailed Bidwa, our local MP at Northcote.
Oh, yes.
And I said, because a story came out 2 days ago about someone ram raided in North Shore, you know what I mean? And so I emailed him.
Has he got back to you?
Listen, he got back to me and said, yeah, come and I'll have a meeting with you. And I said, well, pretty much doing what you're trying to do and what you're preaching on doing to your constituents. And then he said, I can see you in January on the 13th and I'll give you 25 minutes. I was like,
No, I know.
I wrote back and said, don't waste my time.
I know how this works because I was in Parliament for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Covering stuff. And I've just written a piece for the paper in the weekend to saying that Luxon and Co are nowhere near where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And not in touch. And they said they made all these promises and delivering on none of it.
Yeah.
You guys need long-term funding?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Yep.
What sort of money do you need? Because there are also out there are organisations that have in the past put their hands up too, to help.
Well, actually, we're sorted for a location. We've had really generous sponsorship from Jeremy and Bree of Snapped Fitness,
brilliant.
and so we've got a location. I mean, ultimately, it's a bit of an ask of them when you've got 70 kids coming and going from your facility that you're trying to run a business from, and Jeremy's been heavily involved in Te O Kaha too. He started off the training.
And you don't have to pick these kids up. They willingly come in, don't they?
We actually do have to pick them up.
Oh, do you?
Well, most of the kids come in through the alternative schools. So these kids have left mainstream schooling. And so the principals from these alternative schools arrange for transport. But even those alternative schools are asking us for funding to transport.
Put money in the van, put petrol in the vans.
Yeah, so it's great that all the landlords got $3 billion worth of tax cuts. That's great. Because at the end of the day, this is the country's problem. These kids, and you're trying to stop them going on to bigger crimes. And we are volunteers. We're doing it for free.
We're doing
because we understand that like there's no point in going after the gangs or the clubs that are already established. Because you'd rather go after the youth that lead into that. Like don't throw all this money at people that are already adults that are stuck in their ways. You can stop the kids from young. They just got to have options. They just got to see.
Have their parents been along to see what they do?
Nah, a few of the kids at one of the schools have though.
No. So we're actually moving now. For us, it's actually easier now moving into the schools. So now Tim and our trainers were actually taking our program into the schools. We're finding it so much easier, and the schools want it. You know what I mean? So we actually
it's so unofficial though, isn't it? It's so
unofficial. It's so quiet and secretive.
Unofficial. This is my worry as a lawyer about how
and
unofficial.
that's the way I look at it too.
So
because are there police checks on any of you guys?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do that.
We do all that.
We've got the policies in
But
place
it does
to do
feel
that.
like when I go into the schools as well, like some teachers are like looking at me like, what
This
the
is
heck?
good. But where's the accreditation through the ministry and things like that? I mean, just that basic, you would think basic sort of accreditation and knowledge that they back you and they support you and you're funded.
Nothing.
And, it's like some sort
it's
of
Mickey Mouse.
It's just Timbuktu stuff.
It
Where
is.
are we?
That's all but stop that accreditation because I think everyone's in limbo while they're figuring out how much they can spend.
Well,
on
they're
that sort
spending
of thing.
nothing. They're a year into this. They're not even hiring their own nurses that they train.
Yeah. They're not really.
We're training all these nurses and doctors, and we're hiring half of them. Australia gets the rest of them, and we've invested in them.
Yeah.
I feel like we're well down the totem pole on this sort of stuff. What you do, but it's so crucial because it stops tomorrow.
It's so crucial. The thing is, if we don't fix these kids, right, it's you, me, and us who are going to pay the price.
Oh yeah,
and it's going to be 100 times.
Yeah.
On our
they'll sit in a cell for 20 years and they'll do something heinous and
100%. And then their kids will end up doing the same.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, this is why MSD have provided some funding because they can see this leads to productive individuals.
See, they have got community funds that they can allocate. Well, they've obviously done it already for you. 50. Can they do another 50?
We've had 2 lots of 50 in the last. 2 lots of 50 over the last 2 years. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a start. So, and is there access? The problem it's never guaranteed.
Never.
You have to keep going back, and that's why Mike King's funding, which was confirmed over a period of time, it's good.
Yeah.
Because at least it's got some guarantee.
Yeah. But I was wondering, even if we don't rely on the government, even like businesses, like big businesses out there, big corporates, something like our what we're doing would be something that they should jump in on. You know what I mean?
You'd like to see the Milford Asset Management or some of the big
the big banks in there,
the big,
even some of the jewelry stores might not get ram raided.
Or dairies might not get ram raided.
But it's so true. I mean, it's so true. It takes, my view is, it takes a community to bring up raise these kids. So if that means that you guys are doing it, the part of the community, where's the people supporting you?
That's right. They all talk about being game,
That's
but
bullshit.
no one's there.
Ultimately, we can deliver it pretty cost effectively. It's just making sure our trainers are trained,
paid,
and then expanding to. We've expanded to West Auckland now.
Yeah,
so we started in
screaming
busy out there.
Yeah.
And that's why I love it out there as well, because that's where I grew up, like Massey High and stuff like that.
Massey?
Yeah, from Massey. So
used to play you guys.
Yeah.
Westlake, so.
Oh, true.
Yeah, but there's plenty of issues west.
Yeah.
We see there. I've lived out west for a while too. What do you need? What do you reckon you guys need to keep all these guys employed properly? Because people need dignity in employment as well, So and these kids need you guys. So what does it? What would it take?
Well,
how big do you want our program to go, though, Duncan? How far do you want us to go?
Well, I think you can go probably twice as big as it is.
Well, you pretty much could go national into almost every school would have at least 10 kids that are about to go into the
we're dealing
police.
with people that know, you guys are professionals, you see, in your own areas. So, it makes sense to me. If I was the funding guy, I'd write it out here.
Yeah.
But we can certainly put pressure on the authorities and put pressure on the minister.
Yeah.
You deal with the minister?
I emailed them, they never email you back.
That was the problem under Jacinda's government. I thought these guys might be better.
No.
Yeah.
So you've emailed the social development minister?
What's her name?
Upston?
No, what's the lady who runs the boot camps and she's in charge of children?
Yes, Choi.
Choi.
Yeah,
I emailed them and they said they might get back to you one day. Then I emailed the 2 MPs on the North Shore. What's his name? Simon Watts. He never returned my call.
Simon Watts. He should have got back to you.
And then the other guy said, I'll see you for 25 minutes.
What about the East Coast Bays, Erica Stanford?
Haven't contacted.
Try her. She's Education Minister too.
Yeah.
No. I think that if you're looking for a new avenue, she's the one.
Yeah.
Because you're local MP. Because you're where at Murray's Bay.
I'm Takapuna.
Takapuna. That's Watts, isn't it? Yeah, but she's. I find her the most of all the MPs I've come up with. Mark Mitchell.
What?
No go.
No.
Okay, Erica Stanford.
I don't know.
It gets pretty depressing, doesn't it?
So depressing. Like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to go down to the Prime Minister's and knock on his door? Jesus.
Good luck.
It shouldn't even be like that, eh?
No way it should be.
But they're so available before the elections and during campaigns and promising this and that. So what we'll do, we'll put this out there and I will ring them personally and say, hey, can you guys come on and answer this?
Please.
See what we can get.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you reckon it would take? What sort of funding do you need long term? What sort of commitment?
How big do you want us to go?
Well, I don't know. But
$500,000. I mean, if we're just sort of like being aspirational, $500,000 to deliver Auckland-wide.
That's not even that much.
It's not
even that much. Into most schools in Auckland. We could have our program.
our trainers would be busy. The program itself, the theory is counselling through exercise.
Yes, it's so
counselling
true.
A
number of people I get in here that talk about, we talk about depression and anxiety and things like that with kids. The first thing they need to do is get off this.
Yep.
Get moving with this and get out there and do it. What you're doing with them. And thinking about it.
You just got to, that's why we like training them as well, because it's something way harder than what normal life would be. So after they finish training that's hard, the rest of the day's sweet.
Yeah.
They end up enjoying the rest of the day.
And they get rid of that anxiety and that stress.
Yeah, exactly. But when they don't train and they have all that built up energy inside,
and pain,
they'll end up lashing out outside.
And do you see that when you're training them, do you see they're full of talk and everything?
Gusto.
But you can really channel that.
Hard
well,
out.
the walls come down too, as you say, they're full of gusto, but also they're willing to sit down and have a conversation about manifestation and setting goals and all the stuff that they would normally scoff at.
Things that are going on in their lives that are hurting them, causing them to do this stuff.
Just teaching them to channel that fire, before it gets too bad.
This is the first time someone may have cared about them too. When I say
that's
that,
true.
I mean, Graham Lowe deals with a lot of prisoners and deals with stuff, getting some dignity back in their lives through sport, goals through sport, reaching goals through sport. And sport's the way to get these guys, because they're not interested in school, but for the hour or two that you have them each day, you've got them in your hand because they're playing sport.
Especially boys.
Especially
boys, teenage boys. Like, oh my God, what could be better?
Sports and martial arts.
MMA, they love the UFC, all that stuff.
Boxing, they love the boxing.
They do,
They love it.
There's a course in Wellington run by, it's in Nainai, run by Graham in Nainai, and I tell you what, it is so good.
I've been there.
You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah. I've been to that job.
And they've cut funding from that. So they were paid $1 million to make sure kids went back to school after COVID. So they got 300 kids.
Yeah.
And 291 went back. And they got the funding cut by Luxon's government after 97% hit rate.
That sucks.
It's wrong.
They'll be on the street now.
They will be,
Yeah.
Or they won't be at school.
No, so they were on the street.
Yeah.
See, your story is similar to others that you hear in other parts of the country. Good people, good community people who know what they're doing it off their own back, but they need support.
100%.
Yeah.
And we don't need much. It's not like we're asking for a gold limousine to drive us around.
Yeah.
You're also looking for acknowledgement as well of,
I don't know.
No, but it's funny would be acknowledgement that it's working and you're doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Just some support behind us, eh?
Yeah.
Just so people know.
Yeah.
What we're
Let's
doing.
leave it there because I'll see what sort of reaction I can get out of it. But you guys have been great. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Okay,
for having
cheers,
us.
guys.
Duncan Garner, live.
Right, it is time to slam.
It's the Slam Dunk.
So I've been thinking more recently about Chris Luxon's inability to get himself up in the polls. And I wonder if his social media image and widespread use of social media is starting to backfire for him. I wonder if it makes him look, out of touch with real New Zealanders' lives. I wonder if it makes him look like he's not telling the truth at times. Like he's cherry-picking the good stuff, ignoring the real stuff, which we all feel. I wonder if it makes him look like a skite. I wonder if it's too forced, not genuine. And I wonder if it lacks humility. I mean, calling yourself... the king?
Everyone, Chris Luxon, TikTok King here, and I wanted you to know this. We are a government that is all about helping the squeeze middle. We want people to keep more of their own money in their own back pocket so they can navigate this cost of living crisis. 100,000 households could get up to $75 a week to help them with their early childhood expenses. And importantly, in our budget at the end of May, help is on its way for lower middle income working New Zealanders with tax relief. All part of our plan to make sure we rebuild this economy to lower the cost of living so you can get ahead.
Oh, they're feeling so relieved. Oh, they're feeling so well off. And now suddenly he's the king of music as well. And letting us know what's on his playlist. This is being done to normalise and humanise him because he became the PM so quickly. No one got to know him. And he suffered as a result as someone who perhaps lacks empathy and is a sort of corporate robot or corporate lapdog. So much of the social media content lacks authenticity. And it comes across as not genuine. It seems forced to me, kind of like David Brent from the TV programme The Office.
Okay, everyone, it's that time of the year. Spotify Wrapped. Let's see what I've done. I'm in the top 8% of listeners worldwide. I had 37,460 minutes listening to the music. That's true, I listen to music a lot. My top song was Shotgun by George Ezra. That's surprising. Oh, here we go, top songs. Shotgun, George Ezra. Roll Up Baby, Father John Mystery. Of course, Vienna, Billy Joel, all-time classic. I Dance the Night from Barbie. Sorry, Dua Lipa. Guilty pleasure. And Little Boo Thing by Paul Russell. March was my serotonin strut pop phase. October was my Wild Wild West beach country moment. Post Malone, that new album F1 Trillion. Best album of the year. Best song of the year would actually be the collaboration between Chris Stapleton and Dua Lipa. Just saying. Post Malone was my top artist of the year. Post Malone, Fleetwood Mac, Dua Lipa, Ed Sheeran, Tim McGraw. Quite a varied collection when you think about it.
Oh, I thought you'd be too busy running the country. Anyway, social media it shows none of his weaknesses. Nor does it show Luxon in vulnerable times. It's only shouts about success, and it is what you might call propaganda. Sure, it's his take on the truth, but none of it is counted with the other side of the story. People say, oh, the media is not to be believed and is biased. Well, nothing's more biased than an unchecked statements directly fired at you from a politician on his own account. I mean, he might go on about tax cuts giving you $40 or $70 or $100, whatever it is, but he'll forget to remind you that your rates went up by more, or inflation sucked it all up anyway beforehand.
Tax relief is here, and that means for the average income household, you'll get up to $102 a fortnight in tax relief.
Average, I mean, lots of average families didn't get $102. Anyway, at least he got wet for it. I mean, he's been waxing lyrical lately about how well the country's doing under his leadership for the past year.
My focus of being in government is to get stuff done, and that's why this week we've launched our Q4 action plan. Now, over the years, I've noticed that governments can let things slip. They let things get delivered late, or frankly, they just don't deliver at all. But I'm telling you, our team is relentlessly focused on you being able to hold us to account and for us to actually deliver. And that's why we're releasing these plans each and every quarter. In our Q4 action plan, we have 43 actions that will take us through to the end of this year. And that includes things like establishing the National Infrastructure Agency, beginning delivery of new cancer treatments, and passing also the Fast Track Approvals Bill to speed up delivery of regional and national projects of significance. All in all, our final action plan for 2024 will continue to deliver on our core priorities of rebuilding the economy, restoring law and order, and delivering better public services, so that we can get New Zealand back on track.
Been to public services, been to a GP lately, or been to the hospital. People don't feel it, Prime Minister, and they don't feel as optimistic as you are, or as you want them to be, because the reality is that he can say things are better until he's blue in the face, but they may be for him and other landlords at the top of the tree, but down the struggle, it's more than a struggle. 100,000 households may have got close to $100 a week with tax cuts, but hundreds of thousands of households on low incomes got $2 or $3 a week. And if that's meant to be life-changing, I can assure you, Mr. Luxon, it is not. It's patronising and deeply out of touch to think that your tax cuts made everyone feel better off. They didn't. The people who really needed it got the least. And that was by design. If you have piles of kids, then you might get closer to $200 a week with all the childcare options and subsidies and things. But the numbers of people who, in the end, could claim the maximum was pitifully small. And on social media, I reckon he didn't tell the truth right at the start. Just bear with me on this. When he'd clearly built a big team, a social media team, and they'd decided this was the way he was going to communicate directly, so he put together a team of 7. Which, trust me, in the media, a team of 7 right now is massive, as hundreds of journos have been laid off. Well, that's of no concern to Luxon, of course. I mean, fewer the better. He can go direct after all. So he puts a team of 7 together for social marketing and media and comms, and then he says he doesn't know how big the team is. Then he says it's small and not that big anyway, which is code for, well, I do know, but it's bloody embarrassingly large and way bigger than any media outlet sitting in the press gallery at Parliament right now. So what are we to believe? When you say we can't trust the media, I say to you, well, we can't trust politicians when they come direct as well. Where do you go? Who can you trust? Where do you decide to go? Well, I'll end this by telling you a story about the economy that is true, and you won't find it covered on Luxon's social media accounts, nor do the mainstream media cover this much at all, actually. But National continues to borrow to run this economy. Fact number 1, you won't hear that in there. Fact number 2, they're borrowing at the same level as Labor did. You won't hear that in there. And Nicola Willis is borrowing $1 million an hour to make this country keep its head above water. $1 million an hour. Is that National getting the economy back on track, like he says in those clips there? And it's true that National spent more in its first budget than Labor spent in their last one. This is true. You won't hear that in there. Borrowing remains high and growth and productivity are all far too low, and I expect a real wake-up call on December the 17th when the government gives it some half-year fiscal and economic updates called the HIFU. Now, I think this will truly shock New Zealanders because the economy has slowed down significantly since the budget, and none of that was predicted then. I think December, this half-year update, will be a bloodbath. There'll be more widespread job losses in the private and public sector. The much-vaunted surplus will be pushed out further, and they will fail to reach a surplus in their first term. And that's already been, if you looked at Jack Tame's interview on Q&A recently, he kind of alludes to that without telling us the truth. That's why these clips from Luxon are simply out of touch.
A year ago today, I was sworn in as Prime Minister to rebuild the economy, to restore law and order, and to deliver better health and education. And a year on, we're making good progress. Things are still tough for a lot of families, but we are seeing positive signs in the economy. Inflation is down to 2.2%. Wages are growing faster than inflation, and we have delivered hard-working Kiwis tax relief for the first time in 14 years. We're also getting crime under control so that New Zealanders feel safer in their communities. There are more police on the beat. We've banned gang patches, and ram raids are down 60%. We've invested $604 million in Farmac to deliver up to 26 new cancer treatments and invested $16.7 billion into the healthcare system. We're also ensuring that your children are getting the best possible education by introducing an hour of reading, an hour of writing, and an hour of maths a day, and banning cell phones in our schools. There's still so much more to do, but 1 year in, National's plan to get New Zealand back on track is working.
Yeah, okay, well, what about the crime? Let's look at the crime. I saw 2 guys pinching 2 cars on Saturday night at 1 a.m. across the road from a place where I was dropping my son's mate home at Mount Albert. And I drove past back and forth. If I'd had my four-wheel drive, I would have driven up their arse and run them over. But I had 2 boys in the car, so I had to think about them as well, so I didn't. Cops came in the end, but only found the abandoned car. This is in Mount Albert. 2 cars stolen. And a whole bunch of other cars that had been opened, that had been don't unlock. Make sure you lock your cars, okay, at night. I'm just saying that. I reckon it's laughable. Some of the stuff around the economy, it lacks all credibility. Luxon's being so selective on the economy, and he's choosing to leave out all the bad stuff. So he's being a politician after all, isn't he? So sorry to be the bearer of the truth, but someone has to be, right?
Duncan Garner, live.
Okay, that is us. Thank you for all your feedback. Thanks for getting in touch with us. This will be available as a podcast on Rover shortly, and wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for all your feedback and support. I'm Duncan at Rover.nz. To my team, Isaac, thank you, sir. What about that story, mate? About seeing these guys pinch these cars. What do you do? Like two guys pinching a car, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
worrying.
it's a massive issue in New Zealand now. I was actually talking to my mother last weekend.
Good on you for talking to her.
Oh, thank you. And
it's good of you.
There was a new person moved in down the road from her, quiet little cul-de-sac in Christchurch.
Yeah.
And she went inside. Oh no, sorry. Someone came to visit her.
Yes.
Went inside for all of 3 hours for dinner. You know what I mean? Came back out and the car was gone.
These guys were young, mate.
And that was like at 7 p.m. in summer, like last week.
Well, this was middle of the night.
Broad daylight.
Cars.
I know, broad daylight. Crazy, eh?
Oh man, there's so much of it going on. Anyway, thank you, sir. He's a man, Isaac. We've got some news about Isaac, but we'll tell you that later. We'll do this again tomorrow. Remember, life is no dress rehearsal. There is no curtain raiser. This is it. We live in one of the best places on earth. Even Luxon will tell you that. So get out and enjoy it, and have a great day and have a great evening. Take care, New Zealand.
That was Duncan Garner, Editor-in-Chief Live. Missed something on the live stream? Text Duncan to 3598 to listen back on the podcast. Want to get in touch? Got something to say? Email Duncan at rover.nz. Call 0800 863 293.